Oh, I've been caught out! Hello, Mr. Rhodes. Who's that?
Microphone's on.
It's this fella. Come down here, sir. You're a star.
When are we up
Put
next?
that on. We'll see you in a moment, Trash. Howard's joining us now. Which camera? Oh, we're on that camera. Oh, on that camber. That camera. Which one are we on? That one will do. Hello, dear boy.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon to you, sir. I'm impressed. My gasp is flabbered.
Well, now and again I have to make a little bit of an effort, you know, for
well,
even you.
Howard Rhodes is the editor of the radio magazine and our regular person looking after all the jobs and the media news on the wireless, especially every Wednesday night.
Radio?
Oh, didn't I tell you?
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, mate.
Oh,
Just ignore the cameras. You know.
Right.
You're all right. Don't worry about a thing. No, listen, you've been in the radio business a long
Yes, and I was
time.
enjoying that bit earlier on your filming on the Ross Revenge.
Were you reliving?
My old home.
You were reliving a few
yes.
memories there, weren't you?
Yes, I was just praying you weren't going into my cabin.
No, wouldn't be a good idea. But we did go into your old newsroom, didn't we?
Yes, I was glad to see the Newsweek sticker still in there. Yeah. Something.
They stick it in mind forever, don't they?
Absolutely.
It's from that time when you were within the radio sector, you were in what was still a pioneering thing at that point. Have we lost that sort of buzz or that, I don't know, almost soul that was there then?
I think a lot of radio has become, research is the thing that's going on at the moment everywhere. You hear radio stations always saying, we've carried out research into this, that and the other. And I heard someone say the other day, research only tells you what is now.
Right.
It doesn't tell you what people really want. And I'm sure I've said this before. When the government carried out a study into local radio back at the early part of the 60s in Britain, they came up with the conclusion that there is no public demand for local radio.
Really?
Well, there was no local radio, so they didn't. No one knew whether they wanted it or not. I mean, no one knew what it would sound like. And it took many, many years after that before any kind of local radio was operating in Britain. And I think that's the same with radio at the moment. They research and find out what people like now. So they all like Simply Red and Phil Collins and so on. But no one will take that little risk and say, right, we're going to play this, it's new, it's exciting, we like it, we think it's going to sound great on the air. There's very little of that going on.
Is it possibly because, if I think back to the early days of local radio, which not every country in Europe's actually got yet, I mean, we were there quite quickly, and I remember listening to Capital Radio and on its old medium wave frequency, and I'd be there, I'd be riveted to it all the time. And yes, it was playing Genesis and Phil Collins and all the other things. Is it possibly that we've got kind of too old for the local radio and we should be letting go of it? Is that what you're suggesting?
Well, there's, in most markets in Britain, there are two kinds of local radio. There's you'll have, I mean, so restricted, 2 stations in most areas, but the FM is playing music for the younger audience, and the AM is generally playing a gold format.
Right.
So, no, we're being catered for as far as the broadcaster is concerned. Plus, of course, well, that's what they believe.
Right.
But I have this thing where every week I want to put the radio on and hear what's in the charts.
Right.
I don't just want to hear Genesis and Simply Red.
So
I want to hear what's in the charts. I hear what's going on now.
You're
no one's doing
but no one's catering for you, is what you're saying.
True.
Yeah.
True. There's a massive market out there that hasn't been capped, but research won't show it up.
Because there's no alternative to talk about in the first place. So it's chicken and egg thing.
You have some stations that claim to be catering for a younger audience, but they are playing safe. Atlantic 252 is one example of that. It's supposed to be a station for kids. I look at their playlist for this week, and they have just added a couple of songs which have been out for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Really? So
they don't have everyone else make them. and then play them.
Well, with respect, you were in the radio industry at the point when it was still pioneering. Probably like a lot of bosses in radio were listening or involved with the offshore radio scene and that. Isn't it not possible that like all you guys are too old to run the younger radio stations?
I've often thought that I would not like, I could program a radio station, but I would like to have someone by my side, if I were to have to do it, to do the music.
Right.
Because I'd choose a very young person to do that. I started in radio at 17. Shock horror.
No comment.
Would I employ somebody today, age 17, to do what I was doing then? I would have to think long and hard about it.
But why?
But if if they could prove to me that they had what it takes, then I'd probably do it, because I must have convinced somebody at 17, nearly 18,
yes,
that I could do it.
Because this is the thing, we can get very much out of touch with the way things are going. Do you think...
But I'm not out of touch with what I'd like to hear on the radio. I listen to a lot of speech radio because the music radio that I would like to listen to is not there.
Right. If you were in an ideal world, clean sheet of paper, every other cliche you want to come out with...
I'd put Caroline back on the air.